Hey, today we're going to be making evidence burgers. Our agenda is to add introductions and explanations to our outline. And we also are going to be in the express phase of our inquiry model. Remember, in the express phase, we are creating a product. That's what you're doing by developing your outline. You're creating a product. So today, you're going to need to get two handouts open. They should both be in Classroom. One's the argument thesis statement handout. That's where you've started putting together your outline. And then you're going to open a new handout that's called Intro and Explaining Evidence. That should be a recently posted outline. So your warm-up, I'd like you to think about what are the parts of a hamburger. Okay, that's your warm-up. What are the parts of a hamburger? Just make a list. All right, so to get us started, let's talk about the parts of a hamburger. We're going to go with the most basic hamburger, the kind of hamburger my 4-year-old likes to eat. And he likes his hamburger with a top bun, a bottom bun, and the meat in the middle. He doesn't like any extra toppings on it. That's the type of burger we're going to be building today. So when we think about this burger, and it's three different pieces, we already have the meat. The meat for your burger that you're going to be building today is the evidence that you've collected. You've got a ton of evidence, you've paraphrased it, you've put it into your outline. That's the meat of the burger, the stuff that's already there. The top bun is going to be an introduction, and the bottom bun is going to be an explanation. So you've already got the meat. Today we're going to add the introduction and the explanation to make this sandwich. So we're going to take every piece of evidence and we are going to sandwich it between an introduction and an explanation. So why do we need introductions and explanations? We know why we need our evidence. Why do we need that introduction and the explanation? So the introduction is holding up a sign for your reader that says, hey, I'm about to tell you something important, or hey, I'm going to tell you why this evidence matters. Or like, where does this evidence come from? You're going to give it some credibility with your introduction. And then in your explanation, you're going to tell the reader how the evidence supports the topic sentence. Your explanation isn't to talk about how the evidence supports the thesis. Your explanation is going to be used to explain to the reader how it supports the topic sentence. You're making a connection. You're like making a dotted line between the topic sentence and the evidence. And that's what the explanation does. It spells it out for your reader. How does this evidence prove your topic sentence? Oh, we kind of talked about that already. Whoops, and it came again. Okay, so let's look at an example. The evidence says seaweed exists in many of the foods you eat today, including ice cream, salad dressings, and soup. That's the meat in my burger, okay? You've already got that. So now I'm going to add a top bun. I'm going to say, according to the Food and Drug Administration, I'm giving this evidence some credibility. I'm saying to the reader, hey, this stuff I'm about to tell you, this is from an important source. So I'm introducing the evidence by saying, according to the Food and Drug Administration, seaweed exists in many of the foods you eat today. So now I'm going to add the bottom bun. I'm going to add an explanation. I'm going to say this shows that there may be ingredients in your food that you don't realize are there. So this is explaining how this evidence connects to the topic sentence. Okay, it's explaining this evidence. All right, so now you are going to give this a try. This is that document that you should have opened. It should be posted in Classroom. And you are going to look at my outline or our outline on vending machines. And in this outline, you are going to look at A, B, and C. And anywhere where there's an introduction, you are going to highlight it yellow. Anywhere where there's an explanation, you are going to highlight it in orange. So I want you to highlight the introductions yellow and the explanations in orange, and then check back in. If you're struggling, you can scroll down a little bit, and there's the original outline in the document. So if you can't figure out which of these are the intros and which are the explanations, you can compare it to the original and see what's been added. So the stuff that's been added to the original, which is up here, when you compare the two, you should be able to see what the introductions and explanations are. So hit pause and come back after you've highlighted the intros and explanations in A, B, and C. Okay, let's see how you did. So my introductions are highlighted in yellow. So here's Carol DeLong, a final year medical student at Vanderbilt School of Medicine. I've explained why this person has credibility. That's my introduction. Now I've introduced this by saying surveys suggest. That's telling you where this evidence came from. It came from surveys. And then this piece of evidence, I'm showing you that my introduction is Michelle Obama, the former First Lady and founder of the Let's Move campaign. I'm explaining that she's an important person with some expertise on this topic of junk food. So now my explanations are pretty much everything that comes after the citation. So you'll see this is my evidence, my citation, and then my explanation. My evidence, my citation, and then my explanation. So hopefully you had the same thing. If you're struggling to come up with introductions or explanations, there are some sentence starters that we have given you. You can start your sentence, your introduction, with one of these sentence starters, and you can start your explanation with one of these sentence starters. If you're struggling to explain your evidence, you can try to use a key word from the topic sentence in your explanation. That might help you make sure that your explanation is tying the evidence back to the topic sentence. So you're going to practice writing one introduction and one explanation. Further down that handout that you should already have open, there's an A, B, and a C. And you're going to pick either A, B, or C, and you are going to add an introduction to it. You're going to add the top bun, and you're going to add an explanation, and that's the bottom bun. Remember, your explanation is going to help prove the topic sentence. So you can go ahead and type that in the blue box. So you're going to do the introduction, the evidence, and the explanation. Hit pause and come back when you have completed that. Okay, so let's check and see how you did. Here's some examples of how you could have done each one. So for A, I added according to Smith. Smith is the author. And then I said, this demonstrates that kids get to spend almost 20% of the year on break, which provides a lot of time to relax. You'll notice I included the word relax, or the idea of relaxing, which is part of the topic sentence. The next one said, already actually had the introduction, according to Jill Jones, a junior high teacher. I'm telling you why she's an expert, because she's a junior high teacher. So that's the introduction, and then here's the explanation. This demonstrates that summer vacation is a time when students do not have to worry about academic pressure. Without stress, you can relax. So again, I'm tying it back into the topic sentence. And last but not least, here we just said Michael states. Michael's the author. So Michael's stating what kids do, and then our explanation is tying it back to the topic sentence. It says, this indicates that kids get to enjoy fun activities when on summer vacation. Anything that's fun is typically also relaxing. So if you feel comfortable and ready to go, you're going to go to your outline. Your outline should have evidence for body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and your counterclaim. And your intros and explanations are going to go into each piece of evidence. You're going to make that sandwich. Remember, when you're adding your explanations for each piece of evidence, it's going to connect to your topic sentence. When you get down to your counterclaim, this is important, listen up. When you get down to your counterclaim, your explanation is going to connect to the rebuttal of your counterclaim. Okay, your explanation is going to be proving things that come after the word but. It's really important. I'm going to say it one more time. Your explanations, when you get to your counterclaim paragraph, your explanations are not going to tie back to the entire topic sentence, but your explanations are going to tie back to just the rebuttal portion. Okay, just the stuff that comes after the word but. So you can go ahead and get started, and your goal is to get all of your intros and explanations added for each of these pieces of evidence.